Have you ever found yourself asking, what is my life's purpose? How do I give my life meaning? I know how incredibly frustrating and scary it can be to not know your why and your life's purpose. But I can tell you from first-hand experience that once you find it, everything gets better. Once you find your purpose in life, you feel like you have direction. Life feels exciting and fulfilling because you know just what to do and you know that you are adding meaning to the world. By the end of this video, you'll know how to find your why and start living the life that you're meant to lead. So let's just imagine for a moment there's a guy called John. And John is at work, staring at a pen on his desk. And he's thinking that if the pen had feelings, it would be happier than he is. He envies the fact that the pen has clear purpose. If only his life had come with instructions to guide him towards having some kind of purpose and to be able to get fulfillment from his life. But little does John know that very soon he will get the exact guidance he needs, which will enable him to start moving towards his true life purpose. As John sits there at his desk, he hears the background noise of the open plan office. His parents pushed him into this career in finance, promising him a life of endless opportunities and a comfortable future for his family. He shows up for this job day after day and pours hours into this company, filling out spreadsheets, having corporate meetings and doing all of this stuff, but he feels so empty and unfulfilled. He checks the clock constantly, hoping it will hurry along to 5 o'clock. After work, John's aunt calls. Being almost completely blind and living by herself, she rarely asks for anything, so John knows it must be important. He rocks up at 5:30 to learn that her antique grandfather clock has stopped working. The clock is incredibly important because she runs her entire life based on the chimes that the clock makes, down to when she eats, when she goes to her appointments, and even when she has to go to bed. Without it, she is completely lost, so it has to be fixed. At first, John sighs at the idea of having to fix something after a long day's work, but his aunt never asks for help, and he knows how important this is. So John goes and gets his uncle's old tools and gets to work. He disassembles the clock piece by piece, fascinated by the intricate design. Hours pass, and then he is met with a rare sense of accomplishment when finally it starts ticking again. After reassembling the clock and putting the tools down, he notices something. It's pitch black outside. It didn't feel like he was working on the clock for very long, so he asks his aunt what the time is, and she tells him that it's 9:30 and he's been working on the clock for over 3 hours. And his aunt says to him, "John, I've not seen you this content in years. Maybe this is what you should be doing rather than all this banking stuff." And John is incredibly irritated by this comment, and he shoots back at her, "Are you serious? All that hard work, studying and working my way up the ladder in finance, and you tell me that I should be fixing clocks for a living?" Infuriated, he gets his things and storms out. The next day, John's feeling a bit bad about storming out of his aunt's place. So after work, he gives her a call to put things right and to check if the clock is still working after he fixed it. They patch things up and the clock is still working. And his aunt says to him, "John, I know I upset you yesterday, but I need to explain something to you. When you were a child, you loved taking things apart, fixing them, designing your own creations, and it was so pure. It was what truly engaged you and brought you to life. But we lose sight of our childhood desires, chasing what people and society tell us to. But those childhood desires can guide us towards what truly fulfills us." And to that, John says, "Well, yeah, I did enjoy it. The time did go quickly, but so what? I fixed a clock. And why on earth does it matter what I enjoyed when I was a little boy?" And she says, "John, when we are children, we have innate passions, guided by the truest and purest versions of ourselves. But as we grow up and we chase material gain and money, we completely lose sight of that." To which John says, "As nice and romantic as that might sound, it's completely ridiculous to think that I would jack in my job in finance to become a clockmaker." And she says, "John, you're completely missing the point. This is not about fixing clocks or becoming a clockmaker. It's about reconnecting with what makes you come alive. Once you know what that is, you can align your life with it. That doesn't mean you go and quit your job tomorrow. Purpose is about direction, not instant transformation. You could look at studying something in engineering or mechanics, or maybe you could start building and making things in your spare time. Or maybe you could even work on some designs and send them off to businesses to see if they could become a reality." As John's listening to this, he starts to smile, excited about what lies ahead. But wait a second. How on earth Can any of this be of use to you? You don't have a blind aunt who's going to call you in a crisis and give you life-changing advice. I get that. But you can achieve exactly what John did. You need to find your grandfather clock. And here's how. The key is to reconnect with what really brought you to life as a child, your purest, most authentic self. As children, we are drawn to what genuinely makes us feel alive, and those desires are a window into our deepest and most intrinsic passions. When you think back, what did you really get lost in? Maybe it was drawing, building things out of Lego, or playing with action figures. But does that mean that you should start drawing, playing sports, or playing with action figures again? Maybe, but probably not. It's about the deeper driver behind the activity that really engaged you. For John, it wasn't about fixing clocks. It was about the joy of engineering, design, and problem solving. If you liked sports, was it actually football or hockey? Or was it really the thrill of competition, the joy of skill building and being part of a team? Or if you loved action figures, was it because you had really cool toys? Or because you loved the freedom to take the world that you'd created in your mind and executing it in reality? Identify the deep drivers behind what inspired you as a child, and then consider how you can find and channel that energy into your life now. These childhood passions won't give you all the answers, but they will point you in the right direction, and they're a starting point to explore what you truly need from life. Once you start following this path, purpose and fulfillment will come to you naturally. You will get one step closer to your why with every step you make. But even once you uncover your passions, the path isn't easy. Even with clarity and direction, doubt can creep in. And it can really hold you back. And it can even cause you to give up if you're not careful. Thankfully, there is one simple mindset shift that can make giving up impossible. And to learn exactly how to conquer self-doubt and stay focused on your purpose, click on the video that's on your screen right now.